Hey, welcome to the Travel Winds podcast. Today, my guest is a trio, but I only have a duo of them. Gale Bird. I got Josh and Sean. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing great, doing well.
Thanks,
Doing
Sean.
great, doing great. Appreciate you having us on here.
hmm
I will bring up Melissa only when I have to because I just want her to feel left out and like she's missing something special.
So in her defense, we've got four kids, and
Oh, come on.
ever trying to get them all in bed by 8 o'clock is almost impossible. So
I hear you on that one. I
yeah,
remember those days, but guys, just so you know, because I know, Sean, you got a young one too. It gets
hmm
so much better when they go to college. You sit back and you sit on the couch and you go, what do I want to do today?
right.
That's wild.
Because I haven't
I
had
don't
that in like
remember.
18 years.
I don't remember what quiet is
Uh,
like. Yeah.
I have a friend, one of my accounts, and he was having his first kid. And I said, look, go to movies, go to restaurants, stay up late, sleep in, do all that. Go to shows, go to concerts, do it, go on travels because it's all gone. And now he's like laughing at me. He's like, he's got a 6-year-old. It's like, yeah, you were
Yeah,
right.
you're right. Yeah, no sleepless nights, and it's always something new, like all the time. Once they're out of one phase, it's like, oh, well, this is a new thing, and you don't sleep like that either. So it's always something.
I always joke. The best part of my life was when my daughter stopped growing because I had zero problem buying them stuff that was worn out.
Right.
But like a pair of cleats that I bought them for the beginning of the soccer season is now
hmm
not fitting them at the end of the
Yep.
season, and we're going to the playoffs and their feet hurt. I'm like, oh my God, because I know in 3 months their feet are. Oh,
Yeah.
urgh. It's
Yeah, my
like,
son played on Sunday. He had just been through a soccer season, and
yeah,
a friend called and was like, "Hey, we're down a player in a travel ball tournament for baseball. We need Luke. I'm like, come on, can you do it?" And I'm like, "All right, let me talk to his mom." Got him. He's like, "Dad, my cleats don't fit." I
yeah.
said, "Well, boy, you're wearing soccer cleats this week, and he wore them, and he did great, and he didn't bat an eye at it, but he's excited he's growing too. So
Yeah,
he's
100%. Girls, not so much. Boys are really happy about it.
exactly,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so that's awesome. So, how did Gale Bird become a group? What's the
So
five
we
minute?
go, yeah, we go way back. We were in neighboring colleges together. So Josh was at a college up in North Charleston. I was at one downtown Charleston, and we were both involved in very similar friend groups. And he was passionate about music. I was studying music at my college, and so we got connected. And Josh has always just had a great desire to share and communicate really well through music. And so he started getting a band together, and we started playing, did some shows, did a little bit of traveling back then, had some good memories. And then we both found our wives and got married and had kids. And so we kind of put everything on pause for about what 15, almost 15 years.
Oh, wow.
And so Gale Bird was sleeping for a while, and then just a couple years ago, Josh reached out to me, and he's just like, I think it's time. I think I'm ready
Well,
to get back in the studio. I'm ready. Are you? And I was. It was perfect timing. I was just on the edge of. I was about to pull the trigger to leave a job I was with and go freelance, and so I was all in, and it's just been an awesome wild ride since.
Yeah.
how would you describe your music? Like what I
Um,
mean, it's not country, it's kind of folky, kind of pop, I want to say poppy, but the melodies and the harmonies. How do you describe it?
I think it's like the early Eagles moving into what they wanted to really become, but they had to figure out how to get
Yeah,
there, and introducing new members and all that kind of stuff. And we saw that journey that they took to get harder and harder, and louder and more
yeah, yeah,
guitars and all that kind of stuff. I think for Sean and I, it was always like, let's just record what we sound like what we were writing in college. So the first four songs we recorded we wrote these when we were like 20 years old. And it's like, hey, like I think we just owe it to ourselves. Just record those as is. We didn't even like
yeah,
work
yeah,
on any rewriting. We're like, these might not be the greatest songs in the world. Let's just do it. Let's have fun. And that was our only intent was to like, let's just have fun. Let's record these. Like if they sound good, awesome. Well, in the process of like recording, that caught the attention of a label and said somebody said, "Hey, I want to invest in you guys. Here's what the record deal looks like." And so Sean and I looked it over, talked to Melissa, and ended up signing the record deal to produce 6 songs over the next year. Um, and with the intent of like trying to figure out and let the label also help find the sound, and morph into what is Gale Bird. And so we're discovering a lot of stuff, and every, curator out there is like, your country, your country, your country, your country. And we're like, what?
Really?
Like, I don't, and like, yes, I grew up, like, I spent the first 4 years of my life with my grandma, who's from Hickory, North Carolina, which is like Appalachia,
Yeah.
and so thick, extremely thick accent. And, my parents and their generation was like, nope, you're not going to sound like that. Like, we're going to break you of it. I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
spending my first 4 years, some of your most important years, with your grandma every single day, all day. And they're like, no, you're not going to sound like that. So we moved eventually to Dallas, Texas, Plano, right north of Dallas. And
Um,
and my mom would just constantly correct, like, hey, we don't talk like that. We talk like this. We don't say that word. We use this word. And just trying to constantly break me of it. Never really succeeding tremendously. But the older I get and the more I live in here, I married a girl from Summerville, South Carolina, which is like a suburb of Charleston. Her family is from Charleston. They've been here for a very, very, very long time. We call them, you got your been here's and your come here's, and she's a been here,
yeah.
and extremely, amazing country sounding family. But you can tell in the Carolinas, it gets lost on every generation. Every
Yeah.
generation sounds a
Getting
little
watered
less
down.
country, and it gets more watered down and more watered down. It's the way we teach it in school. We're teaching this phonetics and, all this different stuff. But begin to sing more and more, and like the more of it comes out. And so I would usually, it would bother me for a long time. I didn't want to sound stupid, and that was what people would say. That just doesn't sound very smart. That doesn't sound intelligent. I just stopped caring, and just let more of it just come out, and just
Yeah.
stop trying to suppress it. And we began to write more country and challenge ourselves. And I've grew up listening to country music. Felt, that was the station that was my go-to in
Sure.
Dallas, which was 99.5 The Wolf, on 24/7, 365. Tim McGraw, just all these incredible country singers. My first concert was Alan Jackson,
Oh, wow.
and just watching people dance and seeing what he could make people do, yeah, in front of other strangers was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Second concert was John Mayer and Counting Crows, Smirnoff Center in Dallas. It's like I was getting this eclectic, influence of music in Dallas, and so, Sean and I talked about it. I was like, well, like, what is the raw thing that comes out when I write acoustically? It's folk. It's this Americana folk
Yeah.
sound, with a little bit of country twang to it. And we just kind of like kept playing around with the sound. And Sean is extremely talented in it, in almost every instrument, to say, okay, like, what can we feature here? What can we do here? How can we bring the hook in with this one? And so we're still morphing that sound. I mean, you'll see the progression of song from after the first 4 in the EP, then to Crumble Down, then into Looky Here, and Look at Us, just different songs, all the way up to Roses, which is, our newest release. And it's just a sound we're trying, we're morphing into, trying to figure out, trying to stay true to ourselves, number one. Obviously, like, we want a song to do really well, but we also want it to be us, and I think we do that a lot in the lyrics and stay true to ourselves. We really sing everything that we, and believe everything we sing. Um, but we're still just we're having a blast. I mean, in the studio tracking instruments, and Sean has a little special little stamp, a little branding on every song. There's a little hidden gem at the end of every song that is this instrumental hook that is like doesn't show up anywhere else, and then all of a sudden shows up at the end of the song, and it was like, dang, where was that? And then it's like you got to go listen to more music to get any more kind of that stuff. But we've got our own brand, we've got a stamp on it. You can listen to a song and tell it's Gale Bird. So it's not, we're not going night and day, but it's
Yeah. Yeah.
we're still trying to figure out and morph into, what it is that's Gale Bird live. You listen to a song that's recorded, and every single song we do has some incredible presence live. Our goal is to put on the greatest country rock show you've ever heard. So it's not that you're going down to get the slide guitar and the boot scooting boogie, but you're getting a somehow Chris Stapleton and Kings of Leon ran into each other, and you've got this loud and proud song, and it's not 10 versions of the same song. It's we're revealing every song that we sing. There's something new in that song you did not hear in the previous songs, and there's something, to unveil, and there's incredible guitar solos. And the other night we had some organ solos in there and piano solos and harmonica, and then all of a sudden you went really high and you're rocking and rolling, and then all of a sudden you come into here and you've got a three-part harmony that
Yeah.
just blows your mind, and you're like, hold on, I did not feel that. I'm feeling that now. You guys made me feel so many different things, and the comments we get around all that is like, we're built for the stage. So we're trying to figure out how to bring the stage into
I
the
totally agree
studio.
with you. You're
Yeah.
the live versions of the same songs that have been recorded, and it's all. Yeah, I mean, you've added a guitar player, you've got an extra bass. You have extra musicians on stage with you. And the one clip I saw, and I'm like, wow, I was just listening to the YouTube version of that song, and it sounds almost nothing. I mean, it's the same song, but it sounds so much
Mhm.
fuller having that full piece band.
Right. Yeah, and we kind of had to figure that out as we're starting to play live. We actually started playing, again when we got back together, playing in the studio first, and then trying to figure out what does that sound like live, and then trying to bring more of the live sound into the studio. And no, and then what the sound naturally becomes, and oh, it's such a blast too.
Do you ever change
Mhm.
it? I'm just curious. Do you ever when you write, like you said, you write acoustically, so
Mhm.
then you bring in, four pieces of the group, and then you go to a live, and you might have six or seven or eight people up there. But do you ever scale back and just play it acoustic again?
We do, yeah.
Mhm.
We've had a few acoustic shows. Actually, I really enjoy doing that because it helps people focus very intently on the lyrics. It
The
gives us
lyrics, yeah.
a lot of opportunity to try some unique arrangements when it's just like just the two of us and Melissa. Yeah, we love the acoustic side of it as well. It's very different.
Yeah. You can
Well,
hit
I
a
think
bridge a couple times. You can
Yep.
do a lot of different things you wouldn't normally do. And then those harmonies, once you go, the instruments just leave and you fill the room with three-part harmony. Everybody shuts up for that. And they're
Hmm.
just like, oh
well,
gosh, there's
don't tell
nothing like
Melissa
it.
I said this, but the other three-piece harmony that I always think of, especially in country, is Rascal Flats,
Hmm.
and it's because they all have such different timbres in their voice that you can really tell it's all three of them singing. It's the same way with
Yeah.
you guys. It's like,
Yeah.
and I think Melissa's kind of breaks you guys up to split you guys apart.
Yeah.
She makes it
And
sound good.
Diamond Rio's another one,
I would say that, Sean, but she's not here, so I don't have to say
That's true.
it.
Yeah, I think one of those early songs too for me was Beautiful Mess. And the harmonies in the song Beautiful Mess by Diamond Rio
Yeah,
um, were some of the first that like really left an imprint on me of like, hold up, like that's a sound that I could listen to over and over and
yeah.
over. And you know, pulling from that and trying to bring those in. And how do we bring that into a rock show? And and how does that all mix well together? And I think we're really figuring it out really well and giving people something a little bit different they hadn't heard before.
Is there any uh, inkling of gospel in your music? Because I get a
Absolutely.
positive
Mhm.
message in most of your songs. They seem to be very positive, and that's not typical country. It's usually I shot my
Yeah.
dog, my wife stole my
Yeah,
truck,
drinking,
whatever.
drinking, leaving,
Yep.
and
Yeah,
all
yeah,
that stuff. Yeah, 1,000%. And Sean and I, lead worship in different churches. That's a big part of our life. To be honest, I don't think I'd still be married if I didn't have God in my life. Marriage is the hardest stinking thing I've ever done, and I think anybody who's honest is like, it requires more work than work does. It requires
yeah,
everything. It takes everything from you, and it has the person next to you that has the ability to hurt you more than anybody. And somehow you still want to stay together and love each other and make up for it and all that kind of stuff. And I know, we're in our late 30s, but like we've already walked through some stuff,
yeah.
and we're trying to talk about it because and we're trying to I'm not a quitter. and I know myself. I literally can't stop something when I start it, and I've never walked away. I'm loyal as can be. I fight for every friendship and relationship I've ever had, and I think everybody's worth it and worth my time. And I'm singing about stuff, and I'm kind of putting myself in a box where, yeah, boy, you ain't leaving this. Because
Yeah.
you sang I Still Do. You sang Roses. You sang Look
Yeah.
at Us Now. You sang all these different songs. How are you going to sing that and then up and walk away and look like an idiot? Like I'm not going to do it. I'm putting myself in a box, but I'm going to
It's a
be
good box.
honest. Like, yeah, it's a good box, and my wife and I discuss it a lot. Like, it's it's hard to not be feel hypocritical at times. Like, we ain't doing the best right now, but somehow we got to get up there and sing these lyrics.
Yeah.
Like not every couple's ever going to have the best day or 100 best good days in a row. They're going to feel like crap sometimes, and they're going to feel hurt, betrayed, lonely, depressed, like whatever it may be, based on how they're interacting with their spouse. And um, it's some real stuff that we want to sing about. But I think like we need it out there.
Yeah.
Like people need it so bad, and I don't think I'm going to wait until I have it all together to be perfect to even write the song. And Sean and I sit in the writing room, and I'm like, hey.
I was gonna say, Sean, are you writing this down? Because there's a
I got
song
notes.
coming.
Yeah.
Well, we
Yeah.
sit in the writing room and Sean will say, hey, like, what do we need to hear for ourselves right now?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And if we can write something that we need to hear, not something that just feels good and it's like gonna like, get you excited about going out and doing all the things. And I'll be honest, like we got a different perspective on stuff as far as the gospel stuff goes. The other night, and I know this is not a super popular thing to say, and I don't we're different and I think we're proud of that. The bartender or the manager asked me the other night. He said, "Yeah, and you guys didn't touch your bar tab."
Yeah.
And he's like, you guys want something? You want something now? Like, come on, like let's hang out. I said, I got no reasons to drink, but I got about 100 that why I wouldn't stop. And it's
There's
fun.
a song title right there, Sean.
That's
Write
really
that
good.
Yeah,
down. Good
I
for
know.
you.
What
yeah.
am I doing?
And he's like, man, that's deep, and he's like, it's fun, and then all of a sudden when you start drinking, man, if there's anything in you that's you're unsure about it, you start thinking about it even more and dwelling on it and feeling sorry for yourself and all these different things. And you can get into some real trouble, but of course, and I invite my children to the performances and stuff like that, I want to be just the greatest example to them in the entire world. And So it's we're not like anti never drink. We're not like, we're like um but we I think, as far as the gospel perspective goes, we grew up, or we're, in church. I began a relationship. God saved my life and kind of turned my entire life around. Like I wasn't raised in like the greatest atmosphere in the world. I was raised around an alcoholic, and somebody was verbally abusive, and I did not have a great example of how a husband's supposed to treat his wife, and I didn't have a great example of brotherly love. And I didn't have a great example of all these different things. And I heard everything you could ever hear under the sun. And I had gotten every single fist fight and I tried every drug and I'd, just everything. Like I lived enough rebellion in Dallas, Texas, enough to fill somebody's entire life. And was never, ever, ever fulfilled. And I knew I needed, I heard the gospel and I knew that was for me. And I'm a very skeptical person too, so I had to kind of dig into it for myself. And I heard a lot of people say, "Man, I really love God. I'm so in love with God." And I'm like, "Man, how you gonna say you're in love with God and somebody who's like not in front of you, not physically, all these different
Uh,
things." I'm like, y'all are pretty bizarre." And a guy asked me one time, and he's like, "Hey, how do you fall in love with somebody?" And because I told him, I was like, "I don't think I love God. Like, I believe in all this stuff, but I don't think I love him." And he said, "Well, how do you fall in love with somebody?" I was like, "Man, well, you probably spend time with them, get to know them, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be." And he
there
said,
you
"Well,
go.
man," he said, let me tell you how to spend time with God." And he's like, "I just want to teach you how to read the Bible, and I want to show you some really incredible stuff." And then I think you'll realize he's irresistible, and you can't help but fall in love. He's like, "But don't take my word for it. I just want to show you how to do it."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I did, and I fell in love, and I'm like, man, they ain't lying. And so that kind of, was a big part of my life. But, you know, it was more of my adult life, that that was entered in and became something, not out of shame, not out of guilt, not out of any of that stuff, but out of love. And knowing I was missing something, and it has become everything for me. And I've experienced some incredible encounters with God that nobody could ever take from me, and yeah, it shows up in the music, shows up at the venues. The place we were at the other night was pretty crazy. It is normally every band that comes through there's normally Grateful Dead covers, reggae bands on tour,
Yeah.
Grateful Dead bands on tour, and everybody there is just enjoying themselves. And on the walls of this entire venue are some crazy murals. I mean, and I didn't see any of it. My kids were like, "Hold on, what's that?" And I'm like, "Oh
Yeah.
God," you know. And it just, and my wife's looking at me like, "You knew this?" I'm like, "No,
Yeah.
I didn't know this,"
Yeah.
you know. And bathrooms, don't go to the bathroom, son, and yeah, I paid for that later on. But no, we talk about some things over the microphone, and we give God credit for doing some incredible things in our lives. And I mean, I had later on did not know what to expect, and later on I had some bartenders say, "Man, I really love what you had to say, when God showed up and you did this." And one other guy said, "Hey man, when you mentioned about like you'll never stop trying, we had a song called Keep Trying." And man, when you sang that, I felt like you were reading my mail. And he's like, took everything in me not to cry. And and he's
Not
like, I really
crazy.
love what you had to say. Yeah. And so there's a lot of that, but yes, 1000% there's a gospel influence on everything that we're doing. But we're not a Christian band. Like we're not trying to stay in a Christian network or a
Yeah.
Christian radio or any of that kind of stuff. Like, man, we want to go out and we want to
But
put
would
our
you submit your songs for a Dove Award?
no, probably not. No, I didn't do it for God. I didn't we'll say this. Um I think Sean and I are aware that, and Melissa too, our rewards are eternal. And profiting, I don't know. Even if I was a worship writer, I don't know if I'd completely be submitting that for that either. And um but no, I don't think I would. And Sean, I don't know how you feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't processed that one yet. We're just trying to figure out right now. I'm not thinking
No, I hear you.
big stage awards yet.
Back in the early 90s, I want to say the early 90s, yeah, Jars of Clay,
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
and they had a huge hit, Flood, that
Hmm.
was a pop hit. I mean,
Yep.
it was on MTV. It was. And then people kind of freaked out when they found out that the entire album was gospel based.
Hmm.
Yep.
But it still was,
Switchfoot did some great things like that. And they were
yeah,
the crossover group, and Need to Breathe
Need
done
to
some
breathe.
great things
Hmm.
like that as a crossover group. And but I don't think I want to get labeled as, this. I mean, Red Clay
sure.
Strays, they put the gospel in everything. And they're unashamed of it. And um, so yeah, not I think a generation of people is looking for somebody completely authentic of who they are. I'm not going to hide who I am because I think you'll stop listening to me.
Right, exactly. I was told that when I started my show, everyone's like, "Oh, you should be this or you should do that or you should." I'm like, "I'm going to do me, and if it
Yep.
doesn't work and no one watches, then no one watches."
Yep.
Yeah,
But I can't fake it. And I never thought I'd be 300 plus episodes in, but I can't fake it for
it's
7
amazing.
years, like because
Right,
that would then become me.
Yep.
So you're not
right.
faking anymore. So it's like, eh,
Yeah, and I think we have we're very fortunate. We have a great friendship, and I don't think, Josh could speak to this, but I don't think either of us has any need for this to be anything crazy. For Gale Bird to be successful is just for, what we did the other night. That was success. And if we get another opportunity at it, awesome.
yeah,
If not, we've done our best. We gave it our best shot, and we'll get on to the next thing. But we would love for it to continue. We'd love for it to keep pushing, and whatever that looks like will be great. But I think that helps us is we don't have a craving for it to be, you
right,
know, successful in the sense of the huge audience. If it's not going to be, it's not going to be.
so, yeah. That's the essence of my show. It's literally like my first guest was Hunter Cures, a two-time world champ steer wrestler who we sponsor, and I've known him for
Nice.
8 years. My second guest was Cowboy Troy, who plays with Big and Ridge because we sponsor him. And then it was just the same thing. It's just like, okay, I'm not gonna try to be fanciful just for the airwaves or whatever.
Yeah. I think for me too, I feel so at home, performing. I played college football. I loved it. I loved being in it. You got one chance. Like you don't get to do this over again.
Yeah.
You get one chance. If everything else works together and you guys planned it really well and like what you're doing really well, like it's going to work out. You're going to be successful. Um, and then I'm in college and I'm playing music at the coffee shop on campus. And I had a professor that stayed late and was coming out of the library, so heard me singing in a coffee shop, full of students. And in the next class, he said, "Hey, I saw you in there singing and playing music." He said, "I've never seen anybody look so comfortable and doing what I think they should be doing. Like you look like you were at home and doing something that just took zero effort for you, and it was so enjoyable." And he's like, "I think you should consider, maybe giving that
Oh, cool.
some more thought and more attention." And it left him. I don't know if knew it, but it left a mark on me. Like, okay, like, like maybe I should give that some more consideration, some more thought. And so I think soon after that was a call to Sean. Yeah.
That's awesome, though. I mean, yeah, you guys ever think if he would have said, "Hey, you don't sound good. Maybe you shouldn't do it," would that have deflated you and you'd be like, whatever, and then just shelve it and you'd be in a totally different direction now?
I don't think
Okay.
so because I've had those voices in my life. I've had people that for whatever reason they were convinced I didn't have something and I just couldn't shake it. It hurt and I had to process through it, but at the same time I just had too much evidence the other direction and I was forced to kind of face the cognitive dissonance and go slow through it and decide what I felt. And I came out realizing I'm doing what I was meant to do, no matter what someone thinks. So I think with Josh, it's the same thing. I don't think it would have mattered who would have told him what. It's in him. It's in his blood.
I'm competitive too. I would do
Yeah.
everything to get better, be
Challenge
better, do
accepted.
something, learn how to
Yeah.
play another instrument, all the things. No, my wife, she listened to somebody when she was really young. Somebody said, "You should never
Mm.
sing again." It was a boy she liked, and it shut her up for her entire life. And we got married. I had no idea she could sing, zero idea. And then all of a sudden we're married, and I'm like, hold up. Melissa, you can sing. I'm not
Really?
trying to flatter you. Like, I already won. I got you,
Yeah, yeah.
girl. Like, I've already won. Like, game over. But you can really sing. And she's like, "Yeah, but don't ever ask me to sing in front of anybody." And she like threatened me. And I'm
That
like,
didn't work out
"Okay,
so well.
yeah." And then her family would ask her, and she's like, "No, y'all quit putting me on the spot." And then she was very insecure about being able to sing in front of people. And it took years to like pull this out of her. And I began to like kind of let it out. Like, hey, at church, hey, my wife can sing. And people say, "Hey, Melissa, I heard Josh said you can sing really well." Oh, if Josh is telling other people, maybe it is true, all that. And then one Sunday, we get her on the schedule and she sings a song called Oceans. And the song was very popular at that time. And people to this day will see her in a supermarket and say, "I can't hear that song without thinking of you. And you've done the best version of that song I've ever heard in my life. And it almost haunts me, you know." And then she sings now on a Sunday in front of 1,000 people like it's nothing.
Yeah.
And people say, "Golly, I love her worship. It's authentic. I love her worship." It's you could tell she's not singing to perform. She's literally in love with God, and it's so pure, and she's so anointed. Um, and I'm glad that she finally came around to not listen to that thought in her head because we'd be missing out on some incredible anointing of her voice. And then I just love singing with her as my wife. And people will say, "Hey, man, like y'all got something real special." The fact that you can even sing together and it's really neat. But we had to fight for it. But no, and I think there's something true to be said too. You're only as good as your last performance.
Yeah.
There's some things the other night that I'm like, dang, I wish I could redo that, right now. Well, I need to get another performance and make sure I set the bar even higher and have something to prove, and so, there's always that aspect of it as well.
I love the competitiveness.
Mhm.
My dad said something similar to me when I was growing up. I was probably trying to sing Smokey Robinson or Frankie Valli, and I don't have a falsetto voice. So, he said something like, "Hey, you don't have a voice for singing. You don't have a voice. Your voice is terrible. You know, keep playing football, keep
Yeah,
wrestling, do whatever." And
yeah,
that it stuck in my head. So I never did anything. And then when I started doing the show, that was the one thing I was nervous about. Like I hated hearing my voice back.
Hmm.
Mm. No, that's you got a smooth voice. I
Yeah, you do.
appreciate it too. I listened to it on Amazon. I'm like, man, this guy's got a great voice. I've been told I have a face for radio, but not quite a voice. So, um,
I have a face
but
for podcast.
no, people say the stupidest joke, which is don't quit your day job.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
And they think they're just being funny, but no, listen, words, there's
They
life and
matter.
death in the power of the tongue, and you can literally shut somebody up for a long time with a stupid joke. And it's tough. We got to be real careful, with joking around like that because some people will hear it and really stop singing.
See, to me, that goes back to the alcohol thing. Because like I'm not a big, I drink more alcohol in the 2 weeks I'm in Vegas at the rodeo than I
Right,
will the other 50 weeks of the year.
right,
Mainly because I'm not driving when I'm in Vegas. Like,
Hmm.
right,
and I drive for a living, so I can't afford a DUI. I literally can't. And it's just not
right.
worth it to me. It's like,
No, it's not.
but man, I've seen people get fired over. I, I won't say names, obviously. A wife of one of our workers went to a company dinner, and she got a little loose because she had free alcohol,
Right.
and she started talking about the things her husband would talk about at home
Oh,
about the vice president,
Hmm.
and he was
loose lips.
right
Yeah.
behind,
Ooh,
and he literally got fired the next day.
wow. I
And like,
could see that happening
all because your
so
wife
quick.
decided to drink a little too much at a company party.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, think about it. Your spouse. If you get hurt, your
Yeah, she
spouse
hears
gets
everything.
hurt. Yeah. Well, your spouse gets hurt more than you do. So if you ever resent somebody or tell her how somebody hurt you, she
Yeah,
feels twice as hurt. And
exactly.
you can walk into a room and look at somebody's wife and know how somebody feels about you by how their wife looks at you. I mean,
100%,
it's
buddy.
true. If you've
100%.
ever done anything like that or been, leading a company, and denied somebody time off or anything,
Yeah, yeah.
you can look at their wife and see how they feel about you, and because we're meant to like stick up for our spouse, and like we want to, I got your back, baby, and so I could totally see that happening like really quickly. And don't get Sean loves free stuff. And that, that can get you somewhere too. Whenever we play, we've got free food or
Oh,
there's a
free food's
buffet
different.
line. Somehow Sean, he's got like 1 million pounds of muscle. The dude we work out every morning at this bodybuilding gym and we work out, we lift weights and then we play soccer for like an hour in an indoor soccer gym and we create all sorts of fun games with soccer balls and but the dude can bench press the world, or squat the world. I got him,
Not bench press
I
yet.
got
Yeah.
him on bench press. I still, and I never lost the college bench press, of over 400 pounds, and it's something I try to hold on to, but he's got me beating all the other categories. I stopped using dumbbells because I'm getting the age where it's like if I pick up something the wrong way, I'm like, ooh, I felt that in my back,
Oh, just
you
wait,
know.
buddy.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, Sean, like you go do that. I'm gonna go over here to the machine.
I saw a guy
And
pressing 405 last week, and I just watched.
yeah,
I'm like, oh my God.
when the bar starts bending and you're doing some reps, it's like it's you feel a little good, and like you got something impressive. Now, do I need that bench press? No. No, but I think I'm proud to keep it and have it and all that kind of stuff and never lose it. I had an 8 minute mile one time as about 280 pounds and I could book an 8 minute mile and I had it and I was so proud. But my body told me like a year later, like we're never doing that again. And started having some injuries catch up with me. But uh
Like,
and I
just
still
wait.
milk it to this day. I do everything I do now is close grip bench press, because my shoulders are like, you do anything outside of that, and we're
Yeah.
going down. So, but no, we do it, and we talk about music, we talk about lyrics, we talk about the band, we talk about everything every morning of like, what are we going to do next? And it's like the clarity for the day. It's like, let's set some goals. Like, okay, we
Mhm.
got to schedule some time to write. Like, we got to schedule this. We got to do this. Don't forget this. We got to send the label this. We got to finish this. We got to do all that. And it's like all right, we huddle up in the morning and then we break and then we, go and figure out what we got to get done. Um, and it's a blast. And I'm grateful for that part of my life as well.
So because you're both married, you have both have kids. It's kind of make it made the touring kind of a secondary thing, right? I mean,
100%.
Yes. Mhm.
it's just it is what it is, right? Like I couldn't,
Absolutely.
I would have a hard time doing my job. My kids were both in high school when I started this job, and I'm on the road at the time. I was on the road 150 to 160, 170 days a year. But musicians that I talk to that tour are 300 days a year. And
Yep.
I'm like, oh, no, no,
That's
no.
how they're making their money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I talked to a rockabilly singer. He's never had it. He's 59 now. And he's never had a job outside of singing since high school.
Wow.
But he's on the road 300 days a year.
Mhm.
Right. Well, Sean and I figured out too, eventually,
No wife,
we,
no kids, by the way.
right. Well, we work remotely as well. And so,
Yeah, you can do that
you
now.
know, we can
Mhm.
do that. We can figure out how all that works. But we've kind of realized too, a lot of artists are coming off the road to try to have exactly what we already have.
Yeah.
The baseball games, the soccer games, the recitals, the first this, the first that, all these things that because you only get kids for a few years. You get tiny kids for a minute,
Yeah.
then you get little toddlers, then you get these little uh kids talking back at 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, then you get teenagers, all these different
That
things.
don't
You
want to
get
talk at
all
all.
they don't want to talk, you got all these different things for a minute, and then your kids the rest of their life as adults.
Yeah.
So you'll know your kids longer as adults than you were as children. And when I have that perspective, I'm like, I don't care what I feel like I need to do or what success would feel like to me. I don't want to miss any of that stuff. It's not worth it. Um,
Yeah,
and
but
so we're trying to figure out how to pioneer to do this where maybe we can still do both without being a
Mhm.
vagabond.
Yeah, I think what it shifts for us is we
yeah,
have to start thinking quality over quantity. And so with with both of our jobs, we do end up having to travel a couple times a year. So then if Gale Bird gets the chance to take maybe 2, 3 extended weekend runs somewhere, we have to think very strategically as to, not only where are we headed, can we line it all up, but what else can we work into this weekend
yeah.
to make this, biggest bang for the buck. And it's just a different way of thinking, I think, at this stage. And the goal would be that this sets us up so that as the kids get older and are more flexible and, we have more freedom with it, if that's the way it goes, we could potentially do more and it could handle more. I think it's just strategy is the biggest key right now with all that.
I I think, a lot of people complain about technology being bad, but I think in that sense, it's kind of good for you guys because you can release songs. You can release one song, put it on Spotify and iTunes and do all that yourself without or have your label do it, but it's just easier. Like you can send him a DAT file and go back and forth and
Absolutely. I flew out. I was in Houston last weekend working with another artist, helping do some production stuff. And I fit my whole recording rig in a carry-on and in a backpack and was able to do a whole weekend's worth of recording. And yeah, that has opened up such incredible opportunities now. That or like you mentioned, digitally, we a lot of our writing process ends up being like that, where we've got a shared notes app and we're both communicating through it, and then
yeah,
maybe we'll get together once to really refine it, but we're thinking all week long on the writing. And then once we're in the studio, I've got a studio here at the house, and then the label has a studio, and so there's some things I'm able to do here. So I can mock up a demo, and then I can record a couple of the instruments, and then we're over at the studio to track drums, and it's all just sending files, and it is a different world for sure.
my theme song was that way. My daughter, who's a musician, and I came up with a track, and then uh, I was using different people's music, different guests as my intro music, and then I had a guest, Steve Stevens, who's the guitar player for Billy Idol, and I asked him, I said, "Hey, do you think I should have the same song?" And he goes, "Yeah, you should send me what you have." And so I just sent him, the MP, an MP3 file. He goes, "No, no, no. I want to tell your daughter to break down the tracks and send me each track." And I'm like, "I don't know what you." So I asked her, and she knew. She put it all together. I Dropboxed it to him. The next morning, my theme song comes out with Steve Stevens playing guitar on it,
Oh, that's
and I'm
cool.
like, "Excuse me?" And then me just being, "Well, I'm going to use it." My daughter's like, "Did he say you could use that?" I'm like, "I didn't ask." So, "Hey,
Yeah.
Steve, is it okay?" He goes, "Yeah, go ahead." I said, so I sent back to her because she was in Tennessee. You know what I mean? We're like all in different
Mm-hmm.
spots. And she goes, "Did he say you could use his name on it?" And I go, "Shit, I don't know. Hey, Steve,
Text me. Yeah.
can I
Yeah,
use your name?" He's like, "Yeah, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it."
that's
He,
hilarious. A little
but
over a year ago, I was in your neck of the woods. I was in Inglewood with Lawrence Dobson, his Rants 1500. I'll send you his number and get him on the show. And he's I think 5 or 6 time Grammy nominated, and I think he's got 3 or 4 Grammys. And he's produced so many songs, but he's also 1500 is the band for so many artists
yeah,
that you see him on Saturday Night Live, or you see him on a night show, or you see him on tour, and 1500 is the group. So they have this incredible studio they built after having so much success. It's a sound stage, it's studios, it's podcasting rooms, it's all these different things. It was an academy for different things, 1500 Academy, and invited me out there and said, "Hey, let's work on a demo together."
oh, nice.
Um, and while I'm there, I say, "Hey, we're working on this as well. You got somebody that can play on this with this instrument?" Makes a phone call, said, "Hey, send me the stem files," which are, the individual files. Send me the stem files, send it to another guy. An hour later, somebody put together a quick mix with, their instrumentation on it. And within an hour, we had one of, the world's most professional musicians playing and giving us ideas for this next single. And it's just where we're at now.
Yeah.
It's incredible putting songs together in no time. And obviously we're in the age of also trying to push back against AI,
Mhm.
and trying to
That
differentiate with that.
that
Yep,
genie's out of the bottle, guys.
it is.
That's
I
a
got
tough
friends.
one.
I got friends. I got a buddy making money on it, and every week I see him at church. Hey man, I got another paycheck from DistroKid, and I'm like, man, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
And but it's, yeah, the genie's out of the bottle, and people are using AI, and it's just
Well, that's why all the TV writers were on strike. It wasn't about
Mhm.
money. It was, a sitcom will have 14 writers on it, and one writer for each character, and they flesh out that character and blah 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 blah. Well, they're each making 200,000 plus a year, and they sit in the room and they do it. And the studios are like, hold on, so I could with three writers
Mhm.
and AI that's been built up to have that show, the entire show's catalog built into it. We could just do this with one or two writers. So the writers went on strike. The union went on strike because they were like, hey, you can't use AI, and that was that was a big push.
wow.
Yeah, it's
And
going to be interesting because it's not going away. So I think
You're
the
gonna have AI
strategy
sitcoms coming up.
that's wild. Yeah,
I
we'll
guarantee
have to
it.
just figure out, I think, how to distinguish ourselves, and I think the authenticity comes into play a lot,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
I think that makes that live venue so
Yep.
much more special because it's a lot harder to fake that. They haven't figured that one out yet, as far
I'm
as I
watching
know.
Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, talk to Tupac on some of these AI videos, and I'm
yeah,
like,
right.
hold on a sec. I'm watching Stephen Hawking, in his wheelchair do long jumps, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, they're saying like Elvis can do a duo with, Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park
Hmm.
because they just put in their voices and say, hey, make them sing this way.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. But you're
Yeah,
right. Live music, you're not going to be able to beat that.
yeah.
Do you ever play at places? I'm curious because obviously you're in Charleston, South Carolina. It's not New York. It's not Nashville. It's not. Do you ever play at places where you? Uh, let me trying to think the right way to say this. A lot of the small clubs I go to, even here, like the singer gets drowned out because the music is so much louder, and like most songs are lyric driven. Like, I'm listening to the singer sing, and when I go to the live shows, it just gets drowned out. The bass is up too loud, or the kit's too loud. Or you guys ever try and work on that? Is that kind of
So yeah, we have an interesting challenge slash opportunity of being original music artists. If you were to play 3 hours of cover music that
yeah,
was upbeat, you could get any bar downtown easy. But for us trying to find opportunities to play original music
yeah,
and build a fan base, it's very limited. So that is a challenge. But our experience has been that the areas where they're looking for original music, they're
You want to do.
highlighting the lyrics. They're valuing that a lot more. So
Yeah.
the places that we've played, that's usually not the issue. Usually it's that the vocals are too loud
Oh,
and they
really?
can't hear the band. Yeah, that's more
Wow.
actually crazy enough. It's more often the issue in
Yeah.
our specific situation.
Yeah. And so there's been a couple sound engineers that like I have been told I do not need a microphone. And so it is extremely loud. So then you're trying to bring the female vocalist up to match this. No female vocalist I know is like singing that hard, that loud. And so, I don't think we've ever had that issue, whether or not we were in any kind of situation. But yeah, Sean's right. I mean, and we're trying to highlight some, we're trying to have it's either in sound check, they'll hear that three-part harmony and be like, oh, I'm gonna highlight
Yeah.
that. But then they're also then like, hold on, but that guitar solo and then that organ run that he just did, like, how am I gonna mix all this? And I guess I gotta actively mix the entire time
While it's
because
happening.
I can't set it and forget it. And so every time we show up, people got to work the entire time. So yeah,
Well, as a fan, I appreciate that. Because
Yeah.
I've literally been to shows where I go, God, I love their music, but it's just terrible. Like I
there's
can't
10
hear them
versions of
sing.
the same song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm like, ah.
I
So I
think
don't know.
one of the best pieces of advice I was ever given was in I studied music in college, and it was a very it was pretty highbrow in the sense of like, if you didn't study music, you're not really doing it, and there's all sorts of that
Yeah,
weird competitive
the
edge.
theory and
But I had this one teacher that she shared this little nugget. She just said, at the end of the day, your job as a musician is to entertain people. That's it. You can have all the satisfaction you want at home in how you do the process, but if you're going to make money, you're an entertainer. And so I think that that's key for us, is realizing like we're going to be passionate, we're going to love what we do, and we are believing our message and we're trying to communicate it, but we realize that there's a large part of what we do in that live show that's just entertainment. It's bringing joy to people and encouragement. And going back to the AI conversation, I think that that's what's going to make the live venues stand out,
yeah.
is that authentic entertainment again.
Well, I remember yeah, when what was it? When they start making all the music, you didn't have to have keyboardists, because you could just do it on the computer, Pro Tools,
Mhm.
and you could just do a whole song without musicians. And Steve Stevens said on my show, he was like, "I hate that." He goes, "I want live music. I want people playing their
Mhm.
instruments." He goes, "I might use something to get like a structure started, but he goes, I got to hear it live."
Yeah.
But then when I go
It's a
see as
foregone
a
track.
fan, I'm always curious. Like I've asked athletes the same thing, but like I'm a fan. I don't play music. I can't play guitar. I don't play drums. I don't play piano. My daughter's really good, so I kind of pick up some of that stuff. But I just go, and if it sounds good, then it's good. Like as a musician, you go, oh, he's starting in the G chord, and he could have gone up, and I would have slid down, and you guys can like break it down and analyze it. Oh, the drums too loud, this and that. Whereas as a fan, I'm just there going, sounds good or it sounds like crap.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a beauty to that
Yeah.
we've kind of moved past. I imagine it's the same for Josh with football. Is he watches a football game and it looks
Totally
totally
different.
different than it does for me, not knowing half the rules. I just enjoy seeing the score happen, and
Yeah.
he's looking at intricate detail. So it's just, I think it's a different perspective, and there's things that we as trained musicians maybe don't appreciate as much anymore as a fan would. And I think that's always important to remember as we're writing and building these songs, is like, what was it like when we first met music? Like when we first
Yeah.
got moved by a song, what did that feel like? And how do we create that special moment for somebody again?
Is it,
Absolutely.
are we just in a world of releasing singles now? Is that just kind of the way it is?
I think from a perspective of a label, you know, I don't think people are listening to records anymore. They
Yeah.
want to
It's
be on a
tough.
playlist. People are on a playlist. They're on Pandora. And I mean, people I meet, they're in Pandora. Like they got on their playlist people forever. Like they
Yeah.
don't listen, they don't have a streaming platform. They Pandora. They're on that. People go on their phone and, I want to listen to this type of music while I work. I want to listen to this type of music while I lift weights. I want to listen to this type of music while I whatever. And it's a playlist. And they want to discover new stuff. They want something that's all over the place. The world of Pink Floyd records and
Yeah.
just something all the way through that you can't wait for it to come out. And people don't want to wait anymore. Think about it. You get on an airplane now and you're like, why is the Wi-Fi not working?
Yeah.
Like we have Wi-Fi on airplanes now.
Yeah. 100%.
And we're complaining because it's a little slow or cost a
I
little
always
more.
joke about that. I'm like, hold on, guys. You realize you and I are talking, and you're in two different places in South Carolina. I'm in
Hmm.
California. It's beaming up to a satellite, getting shot over there down to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's instantaneous.
Yes.
So if
Amazing.
there's a
Yeah.
lag, how do you complain about that?
Yeah. I guess and for tonight, my biggest traveling uh tip here, and I've heard, some other guests talk about it on the show too, of the disasters of traveling with a guitar.
Oof.
Um, so for me, this guitar up here was a find at a thrift store. I am a thrifter. I am like, if I can get it for an amazing deal or find it or whatever, um, you know, where there was a show for a while called Down East Dickering. Like there was this crew of people that that's what they call it up north. You go thrifting, you try to go buy something, flip it,
Yeah,
and all
yeah,
this kind of stuff. I found this guitar. My dream is to have this late 60s, early 70s Martin, D34, and I found this knockoff guitar, Japanese guitar from the early 70s in a thrift store. It's kind of like a kidney foundation thrift store where like somebody dies, they go pick up all
yeah.
your stuff in a box truck. So I'm like, I didn't have my high hopes. It was a crappy guitar case, right? And opened the guitar and I'm like, that's the exact shape of the guitar I've always dreamed of. Like
Yeah.
the exact shape. I took a picture of it and AI said that's a Martin.
Yeah.
And an exact year reference everything. The company's called Penco, Pennsylvania Company. They were so good at knocking off Gibson and Martin, and they did it for like 3 years. They had the biggest lawsuit in the
Yeah, I was
world
gonna
against
say.
them. So they're called lawsuit guitars because not only did they just look like it, they sound phenomenal.
Yeah.
The inlay on if you look any of our videos or anything like that, you'll see the inlay on the fretboards, all these different things. Um, get the guitar, $100 at the thrift store. Take it to like one of the Southeast's greatest, oldest guys that is certified to set necks of Martins, and he's right here in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, another suburb of Charleston. He resets the neck, puts new Grover tuners on the headstock, polishes everything, cleans everything up, puts an LR Bags pickup in it. And I'm telling you, Sean will tell you, I'm in love with this guitar. My Martin took a back seat. My other guitars took a back seat. This is my favorite guitar in the world. And I love to travel with it. And I wanted to take it to Los Angeles with me. And I looked up everything. I got the best TKL case, all these things. And somebody said the best thing that you can ever do if you love that guitar is you buy a plane ticket for your guitar. And everybody who tells you to check it or try to put it underneath because they're at capacity, they oversold the flight, you tell them to take a hike. That guitar does not leave your sight. You bought a ticket for that guitar and you play your cards right, and you stand your ground, nobody can stop you. That's your seat. And that's how I've traveled with that guitar. And it's still stays in tune better than anything I've ever had. It's the most beautiful guitar. I love that guitar because it's got a story. Somebody redeemed
Yeah.
it. Somebody thought it
Mm.
was a piece of trash. They took it to a thrift store. It's literally laying on the ground in a bin. And it was like I saw the beauty and the gold in it. And it's come back to that gospel reference and somebody saw the gold and the beauty and it said that's worth paying for. I paid for it, fixed it up, and it is the most one of the most beautiful things. And I can't help but pick it up and play it. It helps me write music because I just want to pick it up. I want to play it. I want to hear it. And so that's my traveling advice. Buy a ticket for your instrument. And then
2 days ago, I watched a video with Joe Bonamassa,
yeah,
and he does the same thing. And
yeah,
the one Gibson he had, he said it was $250,000.
yeah.
Oof.
I ain't
And
got that.
No.
so he had two guitars in old cases, And he goes, and he said the same thing. They're like, oh, it's oversold. We'll be very careful with them. He goes, no, no, I'd rather you put me underneath and you leave the guitars up here because that's not happening.
Right. But
It's
I
like,
hear horror stories. Sean Foyt had a $40,000 guitar.
yeah,
American Airlines destroyed it.
Oh,
And they didn't bat an eye about it.
no,
I listened to another woman on your podcast. They destroyed her guitar at Delta.
yeah,
Didn't care. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I can't find this guitar. You can't find another great lawsuit like this and repair it and have it sound as perfect as it does. That guy that resets the neck for these is retired now. He doesn't, it was like a year
yeah.
later he retired.
It's
That
a
was it.
one-off now.
Yeah. So yeah. Sean, you got
I'm
any
just glad I
traveling
don't
tips?
travel. My computer's like that. It's like if something happens to my computer, I'm not working. Like
Correct.
Yep.
I'm literally not working without it.
Yeah.
So that's going with me. I don't care.
Once you
I've
say who
taken
you
one
are, yeah.
vacation in 15 years without my computer.
Oh wow.
We went to Japan earlier this year for 2 weeks. I was like, oh my God, no computer.
That's amazing. I don't know what that's like.
Huh?
I don't know what that's like.
What, not having a computer?
Yeah, I had to
Or
detox from my phone for about 3 days on a men's retreat, and I realized that
you're way too into it.
I'm way too into my phone. I'm
Yeah.
I'm dependent on it.
I think
Yeah.
we all are. And that's, I was saying earlier, it's like we're getting to a generation of what do they call it? They're phone natives. Like
Yep.
they will have always been around phones. Like
Mhm.
I can still relate. I remember very well in business not having a phone. We had pagers. And if I
Yeah.
got paged, it had to be a 911 for me to get off the road, find a payphone, use my company calling card because I didn't travel with $5 of change. So, and then I would call and say, "Hey, what's up?" And they, "Oh no, we figured it out." I'm like, are you kidding me? I just got off the road. I remember that vividly. And while driving with a map, they're all worried
Mhm.
about, don't look at your phone and do this and that. It's like, what are you kidding me? It's like I used to drive
Yeah.
with a map, like a fold out
Right.
map.
A fold out map, a whole one in the behind the seat, you pull
Yeah, yeah.
out the book and open it up, or print MapQuest, you
Oh my
know.
God. That
Yep.
was
Oh
awesome.
yeah, I did that.
MapQuest was awesome. I was like,
Yeah, it
oh my
was.
God.
Yeah.
And now in LA, I'm like, they give me 3 routes and how much time I'm going to save and where the accents are, and it'll pop up while I'm driving. It's like, cool. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
so you got new music coming out. You had Roses just dropped, what, a week ago or so?
Yep.
Last
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So, which it's a great song. I mean,
Thanks.
you get, I'm trying to think, last 5, 6 songs I listened to of you guys it's all good. It's like,
Well, thank you. Yeah.
just, I mean, solid playing.
Yeah, we're gonna write about 1,000 more, trying to figure out a couple, that
Mhm.
we can release, and that's the fun thing about the shows too. We play the music that we gets turned down by the label, and then show the
Try to
label, hey,
work
you
it.
see how they responded to that one,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah.
So
So
what's the best way for my listeners to see what you guys have coming up?
yeah, all the quick links you'd ever want, galebird.com, GALEBIRD.com. It's if you're looking on any of the streaming platforms, Gale Bird is 2 words, Gale like the wind, bird that flies in the sky. Follow us we're most active on Instagram, but we're streaming on every major platform. And as far as like performances or, getting us on different places and inviting us out, emails, on the website, all that kind of stuff is there for folks. But we're trying to build a following and build folks that want to hear and listen and get more out of us and figure out where we can go together.
Sounds good to me. I appreciate you. I love listening to good music. That's just one of my things. It's like so hearing it's hard though. Like for me, like I'm an old guy, so like I like hearing what I used to hear. So like I'll playlist 80s stuff or but then I'm always trying to find new stuff, so it's kind of difficult because I don't go on Spotify that much or SoundCloud or any of those.
Right. I'm a
So
creature of
it's
habit as well.
Yep.
yeah. So I'm excited. If you come out to LA again, you got to hit me up.
Definitely,
Absolutely. Yeah.
definitely.
And if
Yeah,
I
we
ever
gotta
get
get we
out
gotta
the,
get some we gotta get some hats.
Yeah.
I can do that without you coming out, but we'll
Hey,
talk offline about
yeah,
that.
It's
let
a
me
better
know.
story if we come out though.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to come up with an app. And you literally, if this happens, Josh, it's because of
Mhm.
you.
Yeah.
I want to come up with an app where you could take your face and try different hat shapes on.
We can totally do that. It already all exists. You can do the glasses with Warby
Yep.
Parker.
Well, that's what
So
I'm
you can,
saying. Like you
yeah,
can do hair and beard. I want different cowboy hats. So like if you go to saratelli.com or stetson.com, you can do it and just you plug in your face, your head shape, and you can try
that's
all the
it.
different hats and see what
I
they
love
actually
it.
look like.
Let's make it.
Done. We just made
Love it.
money, and we
That's
can
Let's
make
it.
a
go.
song out of it.
That's it.
I have no idea how, but I'll let you do that.
We'll make the
Love it.
commercial music.
There you go. Well, I appreciate the time, guys.
Awesome.
I really do. And tell
Thank you so
Melissa I
much,
said
Peter.
hello, and
Will
thanks for
do.
making good music.
Absolutely. We'll stay in touch.
All right, guys. Thanks.
All right. Take care.
Bye.